We're now going to be looking at how you can actually give custom colors instead of just doing red, green, blue, so on and so forth. Now, although tkinter does have like a bunch of colors, like I'd say hundreds of them, you just have to find which ones they have supported online. However, there's also a better or maybe another way to draw different colors. And in this way, you can draw any color that possibly is, that is supported. Now, in order to understand how we draw lots of colors, or first let's look at what this code does. So if I take it and put it in here. So notice how we have this other function called RGB string. We'll explain what that does shortly. But basically we create this RGB string of pistachio and of maroon, and then we just say fill equals that. So now when I run this, I get a rectangle that's pistachio and a rectangle that's maroon, or as far as we think. So basically the way that this works is you have to understand the way that the computer represents pixels, or the color of pixels. And this is with an RGB string. So what an RGB string is essentially, it starts with a hashtag, so it has hashtag, and then it's basically 3 different hex numbers, or hex values. Now hexadecimal is basically base 16. Now we don't expect you to understand this, but basically what it means is that they're 2 digits long, which means that the values range from 0 to 256. So the first number is going to be red, then green, then blue. So you end up getting 6 digits where the first 2 are red, the next 2 are green, and the next 2 are blue. Now, each of these things, as I said, range from 0 to 256, or 255. So what we input to RGB string is the red value, the green value, and the blue value. And then it'll do its magic and output an RGB string. Then you just tell Python, when you create a rectangle, fill it with my RGB string, not one of your pre-built-in colors. Now, let's think about some interesting edge cases. So, let's say that I made all of the red, green, and blue, I made them 0, 0, 0. So no red, no green, no blue. Let's see what would happen. So as you can see, it made it black. So black is actually when everything is 0. So, or as they say, the absence of all color. Now let's say that I made it 255, 255, 255. So this is the max. If I did that, then notice how the fill is white. And then finally, let's say that I made it let's say I made them all the same, 139, just some random number, between 0 and 255. 139, 139, 139. So here I get some shade of gray. So this should give you some insight. If the red, green, and blue values are all the same, it'll basically be a shade of gray from 0 to 255, where if it's closer to 0, it's darker, and if it's far closer to 255, it's closer to white, and so it'll be lighter. Otherwise, you can basically look on the internet to find out what the RGB values are of your favorite colors, and then you can basically create it using RGB string and set the fill equal to that to get your own custom colors for any of the shapes that you draw.